Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. You know, after Donald Trump beat the Democrats in humiliating fashion 2 times in a row, you could argue he's kind of their kryptonite. Some would say he's their greatest foe, their greatest electoral and political threat, but I would say those people are wrong. I would say, sure, he's part of the equation, but the greatest threat to the Democrat Party right now is not Donald Trump, it's the Democrat Party. We are watching the complete ideological implosion of the DNC, a full-blown internal party civil war between the old-school Bill Clinton liberals who actually want to win elections and the new woke cult that demands absolute purity, absolute adherence to the woke cultist ideology, the same people who burn down anybody who they disagree with and exile any up-and-coming talent if they don't bow down and kiss their feet. And I've been talking about this for a while because, you know, there's all this talk about how Donald Trump is tanking and the Democrats are going to have this big bounce back. But I am telling you, it is not happening. They're continuing to fall apart. They have absolutely no talent, no legitimate talent rising up in the ranks. And anybody who even shows a little bit of flash of common sense thinking and the ability to unite both sides or appeal to the middle, well, those people are always exiled from the party as fast as you can possibly imagine. And I've been saying this for a while, but it seems as though the legacy Democrats, the legacy liberals, are now starting to catch on to this trend and realize they're in some big freaking trouble, especially as this fake notion that Donald Trump's approval rating and support is collapsing. Well, that narrative itself is actually what's collapsing. Yeah, well, I guess what I'm trying to say is the panic is really starting to settle as some people are starting to catch on to the trend. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so basically here's what's going on. You got the Democrat Party, and it's basically a bunch of lunatics with their hair on fire running around, either yelling about fascism or talking about how much they love MS-13 gang members. And then you've got a couple individuals, or I guess in this case one individual, someone like John Fetterman, who's viewed as the good Democrat, who kind of cuts through most of the left-wing BS, some of the Democrat insanity that you'd expect, and offers a more, let's say, sober analysis or perspective or angle. And guys like John Fetterman, electorally, especially considering his strength in a state like Pennsylvania, these are the types of guys who can take you to victory on a general election stage. Now, I'm not saying that John Fetterman would be an electoral juggernaut, because obviously we know John Fetterman has some issues, but it's guys like Fetterman, or women like Fetterman, who would be able to get the independents, the swing voters, maybe even some Republicans to come over to their end, and then win in a general election. And this, right now, is what the Democrats need. They need a unifying figure. They need somebody who's going to cut through the craziness. But they only have one problem. They're absolutely batshit. And the one good Democrat is the Democrat that's facing absolute annihilation right now. They're going for the jugular. His internal polling data, his approval within the party is tanking through the freaking floor. And really, it seems like they're about to exile him. And this has people like Chris Cuomo absolutely freaking out. And like I stated earlier, the legacy Democrats, the legacy liberals are finally starting to get the idea.
Fetterman is a test case, a case study in why the Democrats fell to the position that they're in. You focus on the wrong things, you focus on purity tests, and you eat your own. And you may think it makes you better, but when it comes to winning races, it has made you worse, okay? You should have never lost to Donald Trump. You should have never lost the American flag as a party symbol. You should have never lost the mandate of the majority. You should have never stopped fighting for the working man and woman and the majority of this country. You should have never gotten in the battle of fringe interests and culture wars. Never. But you did. And what's happening with Senator John Fetterman is the new front in that war. And it is a losing battle for Democrats.
Exactly. John Fetterman is the one Democrat who actually speaks truth to power. He's the one guy breaking through the groupthink, calling out the radicals. And they're trying to cancel him. They're punishing the one honest Democrat. And this is the problem that they have. You know, just like I was saying last week, how Stephen A. Smith, I think, is probably one of the greatest threats out of the names that I've seen so far. Not because I think Stephen A. Smith is the most talented debater or the most politically knowledgeable person. I don't think he has really a great grasp with the issues, and he might get completely exposed in a general election. But just from a character profile perspective, he's charismatic, he's a good speaker, he's honest, he's always speaking to the other side. But that right there is the problem. That right there, that intellectual honesty, that open-mindedness, willing to sit down and have a conversation like he did just a couple days ago with the Officer Tatum and then make a statement like this.
Is that your way of saying that you felt the left did that to us, that they just disregarded black folks?
Stephen A., they've been giving us the middle finger since I can remember. They have never supported black people whatsoever. They hoodwinked us into getting us on food stamps and getting us with government assistance, having us to abandon our own success. We had our own bus line. We had our own schools. We had all this stuff. They tricked us into believing that the white man was the cure to our own issues.
Okay.
They tricked us. And then now look at us, Stephen A. They don't have to bid for our vote. They got our vote hook, line, and sinker.
Well,
so they're never going to do nothing for us.
That part I get. But when you say they did nothing, I'm thinking about civil rights legislation. I'm thinking about infrastructure. I'm thinking about Jim Crow laws, the eradication of it. I'm thinking about the access to capital that was given that black folks had. Dated from the 60s and beyond that we didn't have before that. Are you saying that's the Republicans?
That's Republican, unanimous Republican votes for the civil rights. The Democrats filibustered the Civil Rights Act, the longest filibuster in history until Booker just did what he did. Mm-hmm. But the Democrats were not in support of that. That was the Republican Party that was in support of that. And then let's go down the list. If these things were benefiting black people, why are we still complaining today? We've been voting for Democrats for, 40, 50 years now, lockstep, and we still complaining. We still don't have the rights that we want. We still don't have equality in America. Racism is still plaguing our community, according to black people. So what have they been doing this whole time? And when you look at it, they have just secured our vote, and they don't have to do nothing for us. And this is what we've created, Stephen A. Mm-hmm. We've created an environment where we don't benefit from none of it because the Democrats don't have to work because they know I already got us. The Republicans don't need to work because they can win without us.
I've been saying that.
Well, that makes him ineligible. This guy could never run. And even he knows it. He said it just a week ago that for him to run for president as a Democrat, he'd have to purge the party. They would never accept it. You have to be 100% dedicated to the woke activist grift to even stand a chance. When questioned if you support government-funded sex changes for illegal migrant prisoners, you have to raise your hand. You need to be on a plane heading down to El Salvador to have a cup of coffee with Kilmar Abrego Garcia, or you are ostracized. Actual talent sinks to the bottom, and the worst of the absolute worst rises to the top, and then it forces the DNC to kind of rig the process and install their little puppet like Hillary Clinton or Joe Biden, and people are starting to realize it. They're starting to realize that the Democrat Party, the establishment, is totally corrupt, and they're also starting to realize that what's popular in the party, well, isn't exactly popular with the average American. And so that leaves them where they are right now.
I understand that AOC may be more progressive than a lot of people. I also understand that she's one of the most articulate, exciting people in the Democratic field. She goes out with Bernie Sanders, and yeah, she just draws so many people. It's very good, very effective in hearings.
Praising AOC, one of the most articulate, exciting people in the Democratic field. Articulate, you say? Oh yeah, she's a real genius.
Did you witness the president commit a crime? Is it your testimony today?
Yes.
And what crime have you witnessed?
How much time do I have to go through it?
It is simple. You name the crime. Did you watch him steal something?
Corruption statutes, RICO and conspiracy.
What is it? What is the crime, sir?
You
specifically.
You asked me to answer the question. I answered the question.
No.
RICO, you're obviously not familiar with. Corruption statutes.
Excuse me, sir. RICO is not a crime. It is a category. What is the
category of
RICO is not a crime, sir. She snaps her friggin' fingers. Yeah, she's not articulate. She's not talented. She's just a loudmouth, while also being painfully unintelligent, and everyone knows it. But this is what they've got. It's exactly like I just said. The talent gets exiled like Tulsi Gabbard, and the loudmouths float to the top. And this puts the Democrats in a very, very weakened position. Even Trump knows it.
You know, they're great at cheating and they're great at certain things, but they are so bad on policy. They're so far off. When I watch them trying to prosecute the same things that they just lost an election in a landslide on, and they're still going through the same things, it's crazy. And they don't know who their leaders are. They have a new one, Crockett. Have you seen Crockett? Have you ever seen her talk?
Oh,
this is going to be their leader.
I hope she's the next candidate for president.
We can hope in one way, but
yeah.
in other words, it's pretty demeaning.
Yeah.
It's demeaning to our country. But you don't see anybody out there.
It's a sad state of affairs, folks. It's AOC and Jasmine freaking Crockett.
I want to play a game. It's called Trump or Trans. Okay. So I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to tell me whether or not it is Trump or trans people that are responsible. You understand? Gutted medical research.
Trump.
Kidnapping Americans and sending them to foreign countries, a.k.a. deporting them.
Trump.
We know how to use a chair, whether we pulling it up or we doing something else with it.
I'm not going to say that like a left-leaning person cannot be violent, because that would be like crazy to say that somebody can't be. But baby, y'all got the white supremacists galore, okay? Inherently in like who you are. Y'all are violent.
Y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now. We in love with Putin.
If you could speak directly to Elon Musk, what would you say?
Off.
They keep telling us that Donald Trump is tanking the Republican Party. It's all in free fall, but the truth is the exact opposite. These people cannot build a bridge because the radical leftists that control them burn every single bridge. And John Fetterman's the proof. He tried, and now his entire political career is in question. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.